welcome to Game Buzz, the weekly show in which we dive into the week's news. I'm Matt Gardner, I'm joined by Carl Phillips.
Hello.
And Jonathan Lester.
Mega Blastoise is my new god.
And your god. Oh.
Well, I mean, unless you have a chestnut.
Yeah. Which I do.
You're just saying that. You're just saying strange things to me. I don't know.
Pokemon, gotta catch 'em, it's you and me. Carl, you know it's your destiny.
Is it? I
Yes.
thought I had a new destiny, a new calling.
It's your 3D destiny, mate.
It's your yes.
No, I've got a new calling, a new thing that I can become the best there ever was, and that is the new sport of kings. Not jetpack.
Jetpack jousting.
We'll get to that
jousting.
eventually. But jet ski jousting. That is the new sport of kings.
It's a thing.
It's a thing. You will be able to see it on tomorrow as the Daily Bite. So be sure to check it out tomorrow morning. But yeah, that is the new sport of kings, and soon everyone will be doing it in Grand Theft Auto.
Yeah, we have been diving quite a fair bit into Grand Theft Auto Online, and actually, I've recently just put up a little opinion piece. It'll be on the site. You can go check it out. Because as many of you will know, I had my issues with GTA 5, but I'm finding GTA Online to just multiplayer makes things better.
Really does. We've said it before. It makes it feel like how Grand Theft Auto 3 used to be. With its just off the rail, insane, chaotic action.
But now we don't all have to huddle around the same screen and wait for the person playing to get killed or busted.
Agreed. But it does. It feels a lot more like a sort of like if GTA 5 was just kind of like the best of what GTA has been. This is kind of almost a symbol of where GTA might go in the future. And I really hope it does, because it's, in spite of its many, many flaws and absent features, I'm having an utter blast with it. As you will see, as we take to the sea.
Take to the sea.
Take to the sea.
And this is why, John, you need to get it.
So we can all
you can keep Matt in his place when he's trying to rob us.
I've got plenty of Arrested Development references in Pokemon X, mate.
That's true.
That's true. You don't have jet ski jousting, though.
No, I don't, but I do have a hot mess. Team Flare are a hot mess.
Ninja, please.
Ninjas, please.
Oh. So yeah, that's what we've been playing this week.
Greninja, please.
Greninja, please.
Greninja, please.
So I've got both. So I'm surrounded by glorious video game references to Arrested Development, which is lovely. That's what I want. That's all I want from life, really.
Sorted.
It does sound like the dream.
It's quite a sad dream. Actually, though, speaking about the dream, awkward segue into something we were dreaming about playing this winter, because today's Game Buzz is all about delays. And man, we were psyched for Watch Dogs. Well, actually, I definitely was. I'm pretty sure
it looked pretty cool.
You guys,
yeah. I mean,
for it as well.
To be honest, for me, I mean, I saw a production build in Paris a while back, and have been keeping a really close eye on it. It seemed to me like pretty much the only next-gen game, apart from maybe Project Spark right now, that actually says, hey, next-gen is about more than graphics. We can do really cool, awesome systemic stuff. That's also then trickling downwards into the current-gen versions.
Yeah. I mean,
it's doing some really exciting, sort of just futuristic things in terms of its gameplay and its world. Rather than just, hey, look, the graphics are really great.
But that's the interesting thing, I think, because it was the same thing when I spoke to Ubisoft about Assassin's Creed as well, in terms of the impact that developing for both current-gen and next-gen consoles has had. And Arthur Parsons from Traveller's Tales for LEGO. And they were all saying the same thing. It's just that for these cross-generational titles, it hasn't been really about sort of making it loads more pretty, although you can see the difference in terms of graphics. It's about making those worlds more densely populated, giving players more options in that. So you've got feature identical games, but the worlds feel more alive, and that's something that, yes, I'm so excited for that.
Watch Dogs is a game where if you hear a piece of music playing in a restaurant that you like, you grab your smartphone, load up an app that you've downloaded from the virtual store, find out what the piece of music is, and then you can hack the speakers of a restaurant you go to play that song. That's just like forgetting all the ridiculous fusion of hacking, traversal, combat, and driving. Like, forget all that. Like, it's all, even the little details look amazing.
Not getting that
Except-
till next year though. Now.
Yeah, I mean that's what we've been sort of tiptoeing around, isn't it? At the beginning of the week, Ubisoft pretty much stopped the presses by saying, "So yeah, everyone, this game that's coming out in a month's time, the game that loads of you have pre-ordered, the game that is being so heavily supported by Sony that it features in one of their official PS4 pre-order bundles."
Yep.
Yep.
You.
Nope.
No.
No. Now it's coming out in spring 2014. And yeah, it's an interesting decision because on the one hand it's a really good decision. Like it's such a good decision that it's like it's a no-brainer. It's what they should have done from the get-go, right?
Yeah.
I mean, don't bring out your super awesome game to compete with all the sort of official first-party launch titles.
And your own massive multi-platform, heavily franchised extravaganza of piracy.
Yeah, exactly the thing. When you're bringing out your own open world sandbox game less than a month beforehand, like, it's great that they haven't done economy and decided to put two of their development teams against each other in a direct battle for sales.
Perhaps that's what's happened, and they lost.
Yeah, maybe.
There was an epic game of thumb war crossed with jet ski jousting, and the Watch Dogs team lost and had to be delayed.
And of course, you've just mentioned jet ski jousting. I do feel perhaps that Ubisoft totally forgot that GTA Online was a thing. Because like previously, back in the summer and back earlier this year, they said, "Oh, we're sure that 2 months will be enough to make the most of Los Santos." And totally forgot that there was that whole massive evolving multiplayer suite as well. I think there is such a thing as open world fatigue. I can get too much of an open world sandbox. So going from like Saints Row to GTA to Assassin's Creed, then to Watch Dogs, I think would be a big ask, to be honest.
Yeah.
But it's still really annoying, isn't it?
Yeah, especially if you're one of those Sony fans who's just like, I'm getting a PS4 and Watch Dogs, not anymore.
No, and well, that's the thing. I mean, I reached out to Sony for comment. They sent me back a fairly, very, very promptly because they're very good at communicating, but also very sort of boilerplate fashion statement saying, you know, we're of course we're working with retailers and Ubisoft very closely to manage this thing. And there are now alternatives. You can just wait. If you've got a Watch Dogs pre-order with your PS4, you can just wait for it to release and it will get delivered to you. Or you can sort of transfer it over to something like Killzone or...
hey, guys, now come on. There's still Knack.
No, there is still Knack. And, you know, I hope that Knack manages to exceed our expectations of it, frankly.
Yeah.
Or at least my early expectations were amazing, and then Matt, you got hands-on with it.
And it was yeah.
Yeah.
The less said about that.
Yeah,
better.
back to Ubisoft.
There's not even really much to say about Neck. It's just like,
we'll be getting back onto it later on and having this exact same discussion
We
again
will,
in about 10 minutes.
Yes,
But
certainly.
before we do, yes, Ubisoft have also found themselves in a bit of a financial bind because of this. Admittedly, it turns out that Splinter Cell Blacklist underperformed somehow, even though it's been like rocking the charts for several weeks. Apparently, Rayman Legends underperformed, although, I mean, kind of, it was always going to, but I find that really annoying. Everyone should own that game.
Yeah.
There is no one should not own that game. It is sensational. It's one of the best games of the year. It's one of the best games of this gen.
Yeah.
But when you delay your biggest, possibly most exciting earner, I'm excited. And the thing is, I love myself some Assassin's Creed, but Watch Dogs was a big deal.
Yep.
And it was also coming out for so many platforms, and it was also going to be the linchpin for many early next-gen adopters as well. It was going to be, you know, because the launch titles for both systems look all right. Now the Xbox One more than the PS4 for reasons we'll get to in a bit.
Yeah.
But you know, Watch Dogs was the game that said, look, I am next gen. I am going to show you the kind of experiences you can expect from this generation going forward. I mean, whether or not it'll live up to that, we don't know. But I think it's tremendously, it's riled up all the shareholders. Their stock slumped by 26% the day following that announcement. They're going to make an overall loss this year rather than a nice healthy profit, and they're going to be hundreds of millions of dollars out of pocket at the end of this fiscal year. They'll make it all back probably.
Yeah, that's
They'll
the thing.
buy a
They'll make it
golden
all.
helicopter. They'll make it all back. It's, as far as Ubisoft's concerned, it's a good decision, but they've definitely put a few backs up with this one.
I mean, it's not just Watch Dogs. I mean, they've said that the crew's also been delayed a little bit, haven't they?
That's true, although there was only sort of a vague window for the crew as it stood. I mean, they've delayed it from sort of generally kind of the first half of 2014 back to maybe the last half of 2014.
Yeah.
That I don't think that's such a major concern.
No, but it's kind of like it all happened around the same time, so it's like even just a little thing is kind of like added to it, and so yeah, that's the reason why people have gone, oh, this is a little bad. Well, more so for the stocks and everything else, but yeah, they'll make their money back. They'll be fine. Ubisoft will be fine, frankly.
It's yet another reason though for that, because when we've had the next gen debate before, and it's another reason to sort of hold off. It's another reason to wait until post Christmas when the sort of the second wave of
Star Citizen, frankly.
out. Exactly right. We're not dogfighting with the ships we've been ogling for like months.
Yes.
Well, as well, I mean, there's another reason why perhaps, especially as far as the PS4 is concerned, that maybe the waiting game is the right way to go. Because in spring 2014, you'll also be able to play Drive Club.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, that's a game, isn't it?
Yeah, that's a game. And it was one of the PS4's only major first-party launch titles. And
Not anymore.
now it's not a launch title.
It's no longer going to be a PlayStation Plus sort of like thing as well. That was what was going to be coming, the first month on launch. You'd be getting yourself the PlayStation Plus edition, which was basically an elaborate demo, but that's no longer coming, so they've had to replace that. And yeah, it's put Sony in quite a precarious situation as far as the launch lineup's concerned, hasn't it?
That was a really key point actually about the PS Plus thing, because the whole thing was, look, you've got freaking PlanetSide straight out of the box, and you've got a sort of Evolution Studios driver straight out the box for nothing more than you put down for the console. And no, not anymore.
No, and the thing is, there were lots of potential customers out there saying, I can't wait for the PS4 to launch because I'm going to get Watch Dogs and play the hell out of that. Free Drive Club, going to be playing the hell out of that. No. No.
None for you.
Neither of those two things are happening. And, in the spring, we get, Infamous Second Son is coming out as well.
Yeah.
So, and here's the thing. The PS4 has some great free-to-play games coming out for it. Really great free-to-play games. Games like PlanetSide 2. There's going to be, I think, Wasteland Kings coming out for it.
Yep.
Warframe is really tasty. And do you know how I know? I know this because I've been playing the shit out of them for months.
on the
on
PC.
I don't, personally speaking, I do not need to buy a £340 console to play those games again.
True.
Then there's the indie games. You know what? There are some cracking looking indie games coming out for that thing. And smaller boutique titles as well. Like Resogun, yes. Rhyme, yes. Octodad, yes. But
Octodad, Dudley's Catch.
But we're talking about
sorry.
We're talking about a new console here. We're talking about spending hundreds of pounds for a new console. And for me personally, I've written an article about this, but for me personally, when it comes to spending that much money, actually, I need some big, shiny, flashy games to play on it. I need the big, heavy hitters to play on it. It's indie games and free-to-play games for me, as someone who plays a huge number of them already on other platforms, I don't need a new console for that. And I think that there are probably going to be... thing is, I say that there are probably going to be a lot of potential PS4 owners who'll think that way, but we all know that common sense and sort of good consumer decisions don't quite factor into buying a new console in the way that we sometimes wish they did.
Yep.
A lot of people are just going to say, "Ah, well, it's Sony console, so let's do it." And I've already got my pre-order, so Killzone looks pretty sweet, and it does. So, and there is one other thing as well. I mean, even though I don't personally feel that for me, indie and free-to-play games are a factor for buying a new console, I think it's amazing that there are loads of people out there who do.
Absolutely. I
I
mean,
think
the thing
it's
is, yeah.
amazing.
I mean,
I don't want to take that away from them at all.
Absolutely. I mean, we've been playing PlanetSide 2 for months, but there will be loads of people who haven't got a PC that is powerful enough to run it that will be able to experience this for the first time. So it's, I mean, for us, it isn't necessarily the big draw, but I can see it being a very exciting prospect for people who haven't gone into the PC side of gaming over the last sort of like 2-3 years.
Yeah, absolutely. And I just personally think it's just wonderful to see that side of the market being so heavily represented in a console at launch. Will I buy a PS4? No, actually, I do need the big shiny. I will at some point once the big shiny games come on it. But I'm going to keep playing all of these games on PC, and many of these indie games will probably release on PC at some point. And most of the indie games scheduled for the PS4 will come out on PC simultaneously.
Yep.
But fair play to anyone. Absolutely fair play to everyone who's buying a PS4 and is being swayed by the fact that they're finally going to have this wealth, this breadth of gameplay experiences open to them. Good on you, and good on you, Sony. But yeah, I don't know. Thing is, though, yeah, it's kind of, this Drive Club thing is kind of embarrassing. But I've never met anyone who's really all that amped for it, though. Especially since GT6 is coming out in December.
Which is yet another reason to just hold off completely.
Yes.
Yep.
Yes.
Yeah, it's a strange one. And then we can't forget as well that although Watch Dogs has been heavily touted, and although Ubisoft have been heavily touting their cross-generational games on next-gen consoles, they are, of course, still coming to PS3 and Xbox 360.
And Wii U.
And Wii U. And will be feature complete. Feature identical.
Yeah, I mean, they'll be better. I mean, the next gen versions are going to showcase some really cool stuff, especially from the simulation standpoint. I mean, you're going to see, like, when you've got a boat, you're going to see, like, amazingly rendered waves and sort of fluid modeling, that sort of thing, that isn't possible on current gen platforms. But yeah, I mean, everyone, if you don't buy a next-gen console, we're still going to have loads of amazing things to play. Also, XCOM Enemy Within. XCOM Enemy Within is happening. You know what? If these next-gen consoles are coming out, I may not even notice.
Yeah, I mean, the other thing, of course, that we haven't mentioned, which is almost certainly going to take every single platform by storm, be it current or next-gen, is Ghosts. So, that's still a thing. People will still buy that in droves. There'll still be stuff to play. So...
And that's going to play heavily into Microsoft's hands as well.
Yep.
Because everyone knows COD comes around each year. It's a freaking event. People go out in their droves. They buy it. They go down to that midnight launch. They snap it up. Everyone logs on. Middle of the night. Boom. Massive event. And the exclusive sort of Xbox One bundle for that is just going to be very, very good for Microsoft.
For sure. And they've got exclusive Battlefield DLC as well. Exclusive Battlefield DLC as well. That's a big deal.
It's interesting going
for me, but for other people.
But going purely if you are looking to pick up a console, a next gen console day one, either the PS4 or the Xbox One, going on those day one releases and the sort of stuff that's happening before Christmas. Oh Microsoft have really done it well.
Yes, they have, and I do think
for the games, purely for the games, not for anything else.
For me personally, the idea of getting a new console, I'll get Battlefield 4 on PC. I mean, who isn't going to do that?
Yeah.
But there's Dead Rising 3, that looks great. There's going to be loads of sort of exclusive DLC for the shooters. There's going to be Crimson Dragon. I'm a Panzer Dragoon fan. That is a thing I've wanted for years and years and years. And there's going to be Rise, which is looking tragically out of touch with absolutely everyone, both in terms of gamers and the development community as well.
11,000 meals.
And of course Forza, because remember, Turn 10 must be laughing because Drive Club has just seen the competition and gone, nope.
Drive Club looks across at Forza 5.
Hi.
Shat the bed.
Yes. I don't know if that was a factor, but you know what? I wouldn't. Forza 5 is looking.
It's
It's
looking
looking
so
really. It's looking really shiny. I mean, it's just another racing game, but you know, and that, you know, but for me, a racing game is the sort of thing that if you have a bit of spare money at a new console launch, you buy it just to show off the graphics to your mates.
Yeah.
If you are a driving fan, though, do check out my interview with Dan Greenawalt, because we get very geeky in terms of like the specifics behind the worst portmanteau ever, or the second worst portmanteau ever. We get very geeky about the specifics behind Drivatar and how that will impact gameplay and how that will feature in terms of the game and why it's important in terms of asynchronous multiplayer, and actually sounds really good. So it sounds really good when you're describing it in mechanical terms rather than just saying Drivatar a lot. But yeah, do check that out.
Yes,
So,
unlike the word cloud that Microsoft seem to mention every 10 seconds now and still doesn't mean anything.
no.
It's a really cool word, though. As I keep saying, if you just say the word cloud,
Cloud.
it makes you sound really forward-thinking and
Cloud.
futuristic, doesn't it?
Or a bit
Cloud.
wishy-washy with your head in the clouds.
The head in the,
That
yeah,
wasn't
cloudy.
intended.
Cloud is on the horizon. Yeah. So yeah, it's an interesting sort of situation now for these next-gen consoles, because on the one hand, the PS4 is a much more powerful machine that's a lot cheaper, but I don't think it's got the games lineup for me. For me, it doesn't deliver on the games lineup. I mean, yeah, Killzone sequel, great. I like Killzone. I do. I really like the series, but I don't need to spend 350 quid to play another one.
No.
Whereas I quite like the look of that other Dead, and that new Dead Rising. And I quite like the look of Forza 5 and Crimson Dragon, and I quite like the look of, getting Battlefield and its day one DLC on there, even though I won't. I'll get it on PC. And just saying. But yeah, for me, I don't know. I think if Titanfall had been scheduled for launch as well, I think the Xbox One might find itself crushing it. But that's just my personal thing. I don't know about you guys. I'd really like to hear from more people saying, what they make of these recent delays, and it's kind of what they're buying, whether or not it's changed what they're going to be buying. Because at the end of the day, it doesn't matter what we think. I mean, we're just three guys. It matters what everyone else thinks.
Yeah.
What they end up spending their money on.
Tell us. Let us know which ones you've got pre-ordered, if either. Let us know what you're excited for going forward in the next 6 months. Let us know if this recent news has changed or swayed your decision in any way, shape, or form. And
or if you're just sitting pretty with an XCOM enemy within pre-order, going, well, I'm spending like $29.99 this Christmas.
or that PC that you have, upon which every single game is cheaper.
Yeah. Oh, including Deus Ex Human Revolution's Director's Cut.
Yep. that was amazing.
Yes, I know, that was a fun little aside this week. Deus Ex Human Revolution's Director's Cut was once a Wii U exclusive for about a month. And then suddenly it was announced for every platform, and now PC gamers, if you've already got the original game, you can pay about £8 for it. And if you've already got the expansion, you can pay about £4 for it. And remember, even if you don't already own the game, it keeps coming up in deals. Very regular deals around the £5 mark.
It's cheap.
So all told, you're going to end up spending about tenner, 12 quid.
Probably.
Yeah.
Speaking of Deus Ex, can we also just pause for a minute to laugh at the sun?
Oh, yes. Yes.
Amazing. I mean, to be honest, I don't like calling out fellow journalists, but as a hack, I do like calling out fellow hacks. And yes, the Sun newspaper kind of mistook Deus Ex for real life, which is a thing we do all the time.
Yeah.
In a different...
But not when you're writing an article about exciting future technology and saying, oh yes, sort of cybernetic implants are the way forward, much like the brave pioneering work being done by Sarif Industries. And this picture of a cybernetically enhanced eyeball that's totally legit and not game concept art. This isn't the first time that this has happened. I mean, we've seen like Rome Total War footage being put into historical documentaries. We've seen armor footage put into news reports about ongoing wars.
Yeah.
We've seen also, you know, this happens all the time because games are freaking amazing.
I know. I remember when they used the UNSC logo for a UN report on the BBC.
That was
absolutely.
amazing.
So cool.
I mean, there's a tiny part of me that thinks maybe this could just be some really clever sort of viral sponsored advertising, because, you know, Deus Ex Human Revolution Director's Cut is coming out this month. The time is right, but I think that's giving everyone involved, both the Sun and Squeenix, way too much credit. Just personally speaking. That said, if we start seeing Serif Industries cropping up in other outlets and all sorts of other things, it's possible there's some amazing ARG going on.
Or they've just created them. Like, it's a real
well, Serif Industries existed all along. We've just stumbled into the most elaborate cover-up ever. Deus Ex is actually happening.
Which would be pretty cool, I'll be honest.
Yeah, it would. Yes. Also, I had a little a sort of replay of the Malkavian mod recently. That is a thing that I want to see integrated fully into the next generation of Deus Ex games.
That would be pretty cool.
Yes. The Malkavian mod is amazing.
Mm.
Who are you? Have you played the Malkavian mod? It's awesome. You should do it.
Is that the Dealspawn top tip for the week?
Pretty much.
Yeah. Oh, well, no. Dealspawn top tip is have a big, long think about the next-gen consoles now. Have a big, long think about whether or not it might be worth you waiting perhaps a few months until we can make an informed decision about the games and the more interesting games coming out for it. If you're thinking about a PS4, have a little think about maybe you should wait until the spring. Maybe you should wait until Drive Club comes out and Infamous comes out and Watch Dogs comes out. If you got an Xbox One, think, actually, maybe should I wait until we can either deny or corroborate these reports that their frame rate is all over the place and they're still sorting out their drivers and stuff, and maybe wait until we can see, you know, whether this cloud power jargon actually has any practical applications in real life.
Cloud.
I'm in the cloud.
Or maybe you should just go for it. It's the start of a new generation. It's exciting. There are big and awesome games. Either way, have a think about it. Really think about how best to spend your money and tell us what you end up doing.
Absolutely.
And don't let us tell you. And don't let us tell you what to do.
No, well,
tell
actually,
us what
no.
You're doing.
Yeah, don't let us tell you what to do unless it's
Play
jet ski
Pokemon.
jousting.
Play
in
a
which
shitload
case,
of Pokemon.
jet ski jousting. Do it. It's going to be a thing.
It's already a thing.
It's totally a thing, right? Yeah. Good fun. Good fun.
Awesome sauce. Thanks very much for listening, guys. We will catch you next time. Bye-bye.
Unless
Bye-bye.
we're delayed
Unless
Yeah.
we're delayed.
into spring. We'll see you in spring 2014.
Bye.